Welcome back to another podcast, my second episode, my second podcast in this series. This time around, I'm going to talk about Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton and the scandals that she was caught up in, but somehow probably either bribed or knew the right people in order to get away, to get out of the situations that she was in. Now, what situations might those be? One of them was her emails. I know a lot of people are saying like, oh my God, not the emails again. I thought we settled that problem, right? Well, let's look at it this way, in this manner of speaking. Me, being prior military, I had a security clearance, not as high as Hillary Clinton's, but I had a security clearance. Now, even if I was using a personal server, personal email, that kind of stuff, for classified, sensitive information, if I was using it for that and I had thousands or even just a few, I would have gotten a lot of trouble for that. I would not have gotten off the hook for doing something similar to what Hillary Clinton had done. Now, the facts are that when Hillary Clinton was being investigated, she ordered her staff to delete thousands of emails that disappeared. She ordered her staff to delete that information. That's obstruction of justice. Not only obstruction of justice, that's destruction of evidence. Remember how I talked about in the last episode? I was a military policeman, security forces, military police in the Army. So that's obstruction of justice and hiding evidence and all that kind of stuff that she, I'm sure there'd be a few more charges that she could be charged with when she was doing that. But she got off the hook for that. She got off scot-free. How did that happen? Any average Joe, any average person that did what she did would have been fried. They would have been destroyed. Their career would be over, and they'd probably end up doing some time behind bars. Yet she got off the hook, no problem. So that was problem number one. Problem number two was the purchase of the Russian Steele Dossier. Now, this goes to the FBI that was trying to investigate Trump's campaign or certain individuals in Trump's campaign, however you want to look at that. The FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, tried hard to start their investigation. They would go to the FISA courts, and I believe it was around 7 times that they tried to start their investigation with the FISA courts. And the FISA courts kept turning them down, the FBI. They couldn't get that investigation started. Not enough evidence, incorrect information, all that kind of jazz. So anyways, here comes Hillary Clinton. She bought the Steele dossier from either fired or maybe he quit, I don't know, the MI6 agent from the United Kingdom, from the UK. She purchased that Steele dossier from him for I don't know how many millions of dollars, 2, 3, I don't know how many. She purchased that Steele dossier and gave that to the FBI, who went to the FISA courts and was able to get the investigation started. Now, in order to investigate on a certain level, such as Trump, you would have to have a very high level approval to investigate somebody really high like that. And basically they say one of the people who had to be high enough up on that food chain to investigate would be Obama. Obama had to have approved the investigation into Trump and his campaign. Now, in comes the name of Peter Strzok, the FBI agent who conducted the investigation, who was the lead FBI agent, I guess you could say. And he already hated Trump. His emails and texts and phone calls all pointed in that direction, that he hated Trump. You might say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, here's the thing is me being in law enforcement, this is pretty much a well-known thing in the law enforcement community. A police officer or even an FBI agent, that's one of the basic things is a police officer cannot be biased when they go into an investigation. We cannot already hate you. Here's an example. I'm going to take you as an example. Let's say I hate you, okay? Let's say I am going to investigate you and you're basically guilty before I even start the investigation because I hate you so much, right? Let's say I'm going to search your house. How's that? I'm going to search your house. Because I hate you, I am going to look for anything that is going to find you guilty. Because I want to lock you up forever and a day. Now, if I enter that house and I see something that is going to clear you of the crime, I'm going to ignore what is going to clear you of any given crime that we are thinking of. But I am, on the other hand, because I don't like you, I am only going to search for information that's going to find you guilty. Okay, that is the wrong approach for a law enforcement officer to take. That's the wrong approach. Hopefully, if you are being investigated, the person who is investigating you is going to have an unbiased opinion and they will come in and investigate you. And if you are guilty, they will prove that you are guilty. If you are innocent, they will also prove that you are innocent. And they're not going to do their personal best to make sure you never see the light of day again. Well, Peter Strzok did not like Trump. Peter Strzok was basically a corrupt criminal himself. Peter Strzok was having an affair with an FBI attorney, I think she was. And the problem is Peter Strzok was married to a different woman. And the lady that he was having an affair with was married to another guy. Okay. So that was one of the big reasons why he was removed from the investigation. He was compromised in many different ways. One way, he was married, having an affair with a female. Another way, he was already compromised by who knows what. He already had an opinion that Trump was guilty and was not going to become president. Peter Strzok was determined to make sure that happened. All these things were wrong. And you know what? We are about 11, 12 minutes into this podcast. I am going to put an end to this podcast. And I will have you next time. I will talk to you next time. You have a good day.